Hey there, audio friends. Welcome back to the channel. Got a good one for you today. Today we are finally talking about the Arya Organic, and this is a good one, okay? This is a real good one. So I've had this headphone for, I don't know, 2 or 3 months at this point, right? I don't have a lot of time in my life right now for a lot of critical listening. That's why it's taken so long. Plus, I wanted to make sure I really put this headphone through its paces and made sure it was what I initially thought it was, which is exceptional. And after giving it a good listen, I think I can safely report that this is a really phenomenal headphone for $1,300, and definitely one of the best headphones you can get right now, and really good value for the dollar if you're in the market for $1,000 plus headphone. Okay, so let's dig into what makes this headphone tick. This will be a pretty easy review, I think. At least for me, it was pretty clear when I was doing comparisons to stuff like the Nano and then to the Arya Stealth here. So I think if you're familiar, especially with the Arya Stealth, I can make this really simple for you. So we'll look at the headphone here real quick, and then we'll get right into it. Nothing as far as build here compared to the Stealth. I mean, it's pretty much exactly the same, right? The only difference really that this has compared to the Stealth, as far as I can tell, is this little bit of wood in here. Whether that's real or not, I don't really know. I appreciate the design choice there. I think it looks nice. Obviously it's kind of like a stained red wood. I don't know if it's real. I think it looks nice regardless. I appreciate that design choice. Really, everything else is pretty much exactly the same. Okay, accessories, it doesn't come with much. All right, we've got just a fairly short cable, 1/4-inch adapter on it. That's about it as far as accessories go with this. It doesn't come in a really fancy box or anything like that, which is okay because they're pricing this thing at $1,300, which is kind of historically pretty cheap for the Arya line. So I appreciate that they're kind of cutting out some of the superfluous stuff and lowering the price and making it a little more accessible to people like you and me. Now, I wasn't a huge fan of the Arya Stealth. I mean, it's a great technical headphone. It does, as far as detail, retrieval, imaging, all that stuff, any of those audiophile things, it's phenomenal, right? It checks all those boxes, but I thought it was kind of sterile. I didn't think it was that fun of a headphone to listen to. At the time, I had a bunch of other stuff that I preferred to the Arya Stealth. Now, that being said, why I have all these headphones, before I forget to mention it, Hifiman has provided all these to me. I did not spend my own money on these things, which, I'd like to think doesn't really impact my, my review that much, because I'm thinking about what is it really worth. At the same time, I didn't spend my money on it, so just understand that when I'm talking about these things and just why I have all this stuff to compare to. I'm a teacher, if you didn't know this, so I can maybe afford to have, $1,000 around invested into audio gear and not feel too guilty about it any more than that. And, I start feeling a little guilty. So I have to keep things kind of reasonable on my end. So talking about the Arya Organic, pretty much all of my criticisms of the Arya Stealth, it feeling a little sterile, maybe not being that exciting to listen to, I feel like they came in with their tuning for the Organic, and they addressed all of those things. So I really think they're quite different sounding headphones personally, but they retained similar technical prowess, which I think is a phenomenal thing, right? Because if you want a very linear, very technically capable, very neutral headphone, you can look at something like the Stealth. If you'd like a little bit more warmth to your bass, maybe a slight more V shape, a little bit crispier up top, those types of things, then I think the Organic comes in and kind of meets those needs. So that's pretty much my summation of the review for this. If you like the technical capabilities of the Arya Stealth, but you thought it was kind of boring, then look at the Organic. And for me, listening to this, and I'm listening to it on my JDS Labs Element 3, is kind of my main amp DAC unit at this point in time. I thought it was a phenomenal matchup. I listened to it, and there's like nothing that I would change about it when I'm listening, right? I can't pick it apart. Like I'm trying to like think of like what would I change, and like really nothing comes to mind, and that's throughout a wide range of different music that I've been testing it with. Bass is full, it goes deep, it's got a nice rumble to it, right? It sounds big. The timbre of the vocals is just spot on. It nails it. They got just a touch of warmth to it the way I like it, without sounding bloaty or muffled or any of those things. The clarity up top, like, it's crispy, it's sharp, but it's not harsh. It gives you all the information, and maybe it's kind of right on that cusp of maybe being too much, but it is stepped just a little bit back from that to where I just really enjoy it, and I feel like I can get all the information. The sense of space is done really well, imaging really well. Again, it sounds big without sounding too far away. It checks all the boxes, and it seems to do it with ease. I do think, as far as listening to this, I don't have a lot of stuff on hand. I don't have any real high-end source gear on hand, but I do have things like the HipDAC 3, the Dawn Pro. I do have my BTR 7, and it was I could listen to it on all those devices, but the Element 3 is really where I thought it sounded the best. Again, I thought that had the power and the technical ability to really put this in a place where you're getting a lot out of it. So again, you're talking with that setup, that's about a $1,500 setup, and that is super high end, as good as anything I've heard, or within, reasonable distance of anything I've heard, right? And I've heard lots of expensive stuff, but I think the Arya Organic gets you in that place where you can be confident that you've got some really high-end audio at a pretty decent price. Again, if you're in the market for like $1,000 headphone. Now, I just released also a glowing review of the Nano, which is $600, so half the price. It's a little bit easier to drive. I think my differentiation between this, you can definitely tell they're brothers, right? They have the same DNA in them. I found the Nano to be, it's a little less refined than the Arya Organic is. It's a little bit more intimate. It's a little bit, I feel like you just get a little bit less space, a little bit less resolution, a little bit less kind of information across the board, but this is still a phenomenal sounding headphone for $600. So is it worth the Arya Organic over the Nano? Gosh, I don't know. It all comes down to your budget, right, and your use case. If you don't really have the money to spend on the Organic, and or if you want a more portable, easier to drive, less like amp concerning thing, I think maybe the Nano is the way to go. But if you've got the budget, you generally listen at a desk, you have reasonable source gear at this point in time, or you don't mind spending $300 on $400 on amps and DACs and stuff like that, then I think really the Arya Organic is something that you can buy with confidence and feel like you're not gonna really be super tempted to upgrade in the near future. So I think both these headphones are big wins for Hifiman, but if I had to choose one to keep that I would just use kind of forever, I think it'd be the Organic, right? Like, I would spend the money and do the Organic for me. So phenomenal headphone, highly recommended. I think it's going to be up there with the best at that price range. And the great thing about Hifiman is they release a lot of headphones, so probably, even by the time we're watching this, you can probably grab one of these for $1,000 on the used market, I would bet. Or they have great open box deals that you can keep a lookout for, Black Friday deals, things like that. So $1,300 MSRP, you can probably find it cheaper. And it's a phenomenal headphone. So what's your experience? How do you think my assessment of the Arya Organic is? How does it stack up to other things in this price range? I don't have anything else really in this price range besides the Stealth at this point in time to compare to, so I couldn't really draw any of those comparisons that you're probably going to ask about. So I don't know how well I can do any of those if you drop those in the comments and questions, but I'll do my best if you have one. So great headphone, love it. Thanks for Hifiman for sending it out. Thanks for you for watching. Hopefully I'll catch you in the next one.